Documenting cases with file notes and the timer function. Adding file notes to your cases in the PIP is quick and easy. Click on the documentation icon in the module navigation menu at the top of your screen. Click on the Case Notes section if it is not already selected. Make sure that you are currently viewing the case for which you want to enter a file note. If not, use the key combination Control-F on Windows or Command-F on Mac to enter Find mode. Type in all or part of the case name and hit the Enter button to find your case. To create a new file note, click on the Add Note to Case button at the bottom left of the Notes portal. You will be presented with a dialog box to enter the new file note. You will notice that the staff field will pre-populate with the initials of the user that is currently logged into the PIP system. If you need to change this field, click in the field and select another staff member's initials from the pop-up list. The date for the note can be selected from the pop-up calendar, which defaults to today's date. You may navigate using the pop-up calendar, or you can click the backspace key on your keyboard and enter a date directly into the field. Next, select an activity code from the pop-up list. For efficiency, the description field can be preset for an activity code and will pre-populate when the activity code is selected. We have provided you with the default set of activity codes. However, you can add, edit, and delete these codes in the Preferences module, which we will discuss later in this video. Finally, you can add or change the description for the file note in the large field box. You can type a note of virtually unlimited length into this field. Drag the bottom right corner of the window to enlarge the text box to view larger amounts of text. Before you save your new note using one of the buttons at the bottom of the dialog box, it is important to understand the timer feature in the PIP. The timer automatically starts whenever you create a new note or edit an existing note. If you use the Saved Timed Note button, the timer will be stopped and the calculated time will be entered in the time field. If you are editing an existing note and there are multiple timed sessions, then the time calculation will include all timed sessions. Clicking the Save Timer On button will save the note, but will leave the timer running and functions the same for new or existing notes. If you wish to override the timer, then directly enter a value in the time field. Clicking on either Save button will not affect the time you manually entered. For a new note, the Cancel button will discard the note and close the dialog box. For an existing note, the Cancel button will undo any changes that you have made and return the note to its original state. The timer function can also be used after a file note has been created. The timer can be started and stopped by clicking on the round colored button after the word timer. The colors indicate the following. Green means the timer is running, blue means the timer is stopped, and gray means the timer has not been used with this note. The timer also has a user interface, which can be accessed by clicking the word timer. The Note Timer Details dialog box displays each individual session for each staff member using start and end times based on a date time stamp. Note, more than one staff member can use the timer on the same note at the same time. The timer will track all sessions separately, and staff members can log out of the system and log back in while the timer is running. To delete a session, simply click on the trash icon to the right of the session in the portal. To delete a file note, click on the trash can icon to the right of the note. To print file notes, use the Print button in the utility toolbar. All file notes which match the file notes filter will display in the print view of the report. You can change the file notes filter to print a limited set of file notes. This is particularly useful when you want to see a list of conversations that you've had with a client or opposing counsel, since it provides a chronological view of all of your communications. To edit a file note, simply click anywhere on the file note and Edit dialog box will appear. There is also a special Find feature in the File Notes module. To search for file notes that match a specific search criteria, click on the Find button in the utility toolbar. You will be presented with the Search dialog box for file notes. You can search for file notes based upon any or all of the fields in the file notes search box. For example, enter a start date and an end date to search for file notes in a date range. To search for file notes for a particular staff member, choose their initials from the pop-up list in the staff field. Click on the Search button to perform your search. If notes exist which match your search criteria, you will be prompted to view the list of notes in either a list view or a print view. The print view is displayed with the print palette. The list view displays the found set of notes, which can then be edited by clicking on the note. Notes can be printed from the list view by using the print function in the utility toolbar. Notes can also be filtered based upon two additional criteria. To view only time notes, set the Show Time Notes Only filter to Yes. And there is also a Show Related Notes filter that will display all file notes for a particular client across all cases. This feature is particularly useful when your firm is handling multiple matters for a client, since you only have to enter a single file note, which can be viewed from the context of any case you are handling for that client. But note, the print function will include notes from other cases when the Show Related Notes filter is set to Yes. In order to get the most out of your PIP system, you will want to create your own set of activity codes to automate your time and billing process. There are activity codes for both time and expense items. To add a new activity code, click on the Value Lists tab and then select Task List in the Value List type field. To add a new activity code, click on the Add New Value List Item button at the bottom left of the portal. You will be presented with a dialog box which has two fields, the task list name and the price. For example, type in TCC Extended for the task list name. I'm using this code to represent an extended telephone call with the client. If you want to enter a default billable rate, enter it in the price field. To save your new activity code, click OK. You should also note that there are activity codes for expenses, which you will also see referred to as cost items in the PIP. Cost items are identified by a $ character at the beginning of the activity code, but are the same in all other respects. But please note that cost items are not displayed in the list of activity codes when entering file notes. They are only displayed in the case detail module in the Cost tab. This is where costs are entered for your cases. To edit an existing activity code, simply click on the activity code name in the Value column. An activity code can be deleted by clicking on the trash can icon in the right-hand column next to the code. And note, deleting an activity code will not affect any existing file notes or cost items that you have entered for a case. As a final thought, for firms that invoice clients for their services, using file notes to notate the work performed will make the job of creating billing slips and generating invoices very quick and easy. File notes that you create can be converted into billing slips with the click of a button in the Time and Billing module. For a complete explanation of how to convert notes into billing slips, please see the video entitled Create and Review Billing Slips.